Have you ever felt like you're living on autopilot, doing the same shit every day with the same boring people with nothing to look forward to? What if I told you that the life that you're living is not a result of your circumstances, but of your personality? I'm here to tell you that the practical solution to reinventing your whole life is not about changing your goals this year. It's not about trying to change your circumstances, but it's about realizing the negative cycle and the negative character traits that you have and reinventing yourself with new ones. In this video, I'm going to help you break out of this mundane cycle and create a system designed for you to live and create a life that you cannot wait to wake up to. So where does your personality come from and how do you actually change it? In January of 2022, I remember I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I was insecure, I was broke, and I was just helpless, not understanding what was going on. And although I was on a self-development journey, there was still so many negative traits that would hold me back and not allow myself to be the person that I really dreamed of being. And in this position, you're constantly negative, you're constantly pessimistic, and nobody wants to be around you. You know, one day I felt so lost, so confused, and I turned on a podcast, hopefully to just get something. And the host was saying that you have to be able to reinvent yourself by reinventing your character traits. He said that our traits dictate our entire life. If we're a negative person, then we're going to attract negative people, negative circumstances, and see life in a negative light. But if we're a positive, optimistic, charming person, then it'll be easy for us to make friends. It'll be easier for us to create a business and make people like us. He said that although core parts of your personality stay static and the same, there's a major part of your personality that can be changed and upgraded through mental frameworks. That's when I tried the framework that I'm about to give to you. So I grabbed a piece of paper and I wrote a line down the middle. On the left side, I wrote down all the negative traits that I had. I wrote down insecurity, I wrote down indecision, I wrote down I was a complainer, all of the things that I knew about myself that I wanted to change. And at the top, I wrote down the peasant. And on the right side, I put on the top the king, and I put all the traits that I wanted to have, that I dreamed of having. A very confident soul, a very charming person, very charismatic, very caring, very kind. And I wrote at the bottom of this paper, I commit to being more like the king versus the peasant. And I learned this mantra where you start asking yourself, what would the best version of yourself do in this moment? I would ask myself, what would King Leo do in this moment? And am I being Peasant Leo or King Leo? And that mental framework changed my life because this paper had all of those traits down. I was able to determine in every moment, every action, every conversation, whether I was being Peasant Leo, which is all these negative traits and old traits, versus King Leo, which is all the traits that I want to have. And every single day I would act more like King Leo, more like King Leo, until 3 months later, I found this same piece of paper and I read all the negative traits and almost all of them were gone. And I read all the positive traits and almost every single one of them I've adapted into my personality and into who I am today. This super simple mental framework changed my entire life and I want to be able to give it to you. So stop the video, save it somewhere, copy the link, send it to yourself on a text so you can come back to it 3 months later and see how much you've changed. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out a big piece of paper and you're going to write a line right down the middle. Just like this. On the left side, you're gonna put the peasant. And I put the peasant because I wanted to be able to almost put down the old self. And some might say, I even say that you have to have grace for the old self. And I do. But in the moment as I'm thinking, I needed a word to make sure that I don't become that person. I don't stay as that person. I actually, in the past, put sheep versus the king. But in this case, I thought peasant made more sense, right? So I put the peasant blank. So I put the peasant Leo on this side. And on the right side, I would put the king Leo. For the peasant Leo, put all of the negative traits that you currently have. And this takes a lot of honesty. This requires you to be completely honest with yourself of what's really going on. If you complain a lot, put I'm a complainer, or I'm insecure, or I'm bad with my money, I'm mean, I'm rude, I'm promiscuous, whatever these words are, put them all there. On the right side, once you do this, take some time, pause the video, sit down and visualize what the greatest version of yourself looks like 10 years from now. How does he dress? How does she dress? What type of energy do they give off? Are they a kind person? Are they confident? Are they charming? How do they interact with other people? Know what that person looks like and write down all of their traits on the right side. And I ask you this question, who is it that you want to become? What kind of traits do you want to adapt into? Write those all on the right side. every single morning for the next 30 days, take a look at this paper and remember who it is that you're becoming and who it is that you're veering away from. And that is the peasant self, and that is the king self. Throughout the day, as you're driving, as you're working out, as you're communicating with people, and you do something, ask yourself, am I being peasant Leo or am I being king Leo? And in this case, am I being the peasant or am I being the king? Or it could be the queen, whatever you want to do. It's just a mental framework that allows you to remember to cycle back into the greatest version of yourself that you've created, you've put onto this paper. If you want to take a picture, put it as your screensaver, do that as well. And another mental framework that I use is every time I walk under a door, I'll ask myself, who do I want to be? Am I being the king or am I being the peasant? If you do this every single day, you'll realize such a big change in your life, and you'll realize the transformation has come so fast because you are intentional with your change. This framework is so important because it trains us to become the version of ourselves that we create, not that society wants us to be, and it allows us to break free of the pessimistic, boring, negative personality that we are programmed to be, whether it be by the education system or by our family, by social media, or whoever controls what we see and what we get programmed by every single day. Just remember that your personality is not static. It's ever changing every day throughout life experiences, throughout intentional programming like this. And when you put yourself through different actions and habits, that's when the real transformation starts to come. Take 10 to 15 minutes to actually take out a piece of paper, write this all out, and you will begin to see how big of a change can come just from 3 months of doing this. Every single day, looking at yourself and saying, who do I want to be in just 3 months? You know, I sit back today and I look in the mirror and I actually love the person that I see. I have an amazing relationship with myself, and all of the traits that I've created are the traits that, if you know me, you see me today and you get to feel that charisma. You feel that charm, you feel that love. But even now, I still have traits that I'm always growing from. This is not just a 3-month thing. This is a forever lifestyle that you're creating in order to create the best version of yourself in every level, because we're always leveling up and we're always creating new circumstances. We're always meeting new people and we're always developing ourselves. But just remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. If you don't create time for yourself to actually work on this body, on this mind, on this soul, then you're always going to have the same life. You're always going to have the same experience, and in turn, the same feelings every single day that create this life experience that you have today. So if you really do want to make a change and start seeing your life in a better light, I promise you, take 15 minutes and do this today. By the way, guys, this journey is so much easier when you have good, loving people around you who are also on the same journey to become the best version of themselves. I just launched the Truka community, which is exactly what I just said. The people who love you, who support you, who are also on this same path as you, all connecting and collaborating with each other. So if you want to check that out, I'm linking that in the description below. And I just did a YouTube video on how to attract the tribe and the people of your dreams. So I'll link that video right here. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.